Shot Games. Hallelujah, the lockout is over, the NHL is back, and the St. Louis Blues are going to kick ass once again. So, let's get into this pickup video. Figured I'd put on my home colors because today's video is about a care package I got from home. It's got a lot of my childhood games in it. So, let's hit the ground running. Let's start where it all began. The first game I ever received for the first system I ever owned. Warhawk for the PlayStation 1. When I was young, this was the first game I got. When I was little, I really liked platformer games, stuff like Crash Bandicoot, Spyro. That's the reason I kind of wanted to play games. I'd grown up playing games at neighbors' houses on Nintendo and stuff like that, but by the time I got my own in first grade, the PlayStation 1 had come out. It was like the cutting edge thing. That's what my dad decided to get me. He decided to give me like a badass game where you're blowing stuff up. So, me getting thrown into the fire with my first system being, my first game on my first system being a damn combat flight simulator, wasn't the easiest, but I got, the hang of it. And this was the first game I had for a while. I think the second game I got on PlayStation 1 was Gex. So that was more down my alley. But this is what I had for, the time being. And I kind of got into it and stuff, but this is where it all began. The next game, Darkstalkers for the PS1. It's a fighting game. This game's really cool. You play as pretty much like legendary monsters, and there's a zombie, there's like a Catwoman, there's a vampire, a succubus, a Sasquatch, a samurai, a merman, a Frankenstein, a werewolf. I think it's a bigger series in Japan. I remember there was a cartoon that came on that had to deal with this show. I remember seeing it a long time ago, and I only saw it once. So I think it's more popular in Japan, but it's a fun fighter. If you never played it, I suggest checking it out. I don't know the rarity or price on this game at all. I've had it forever, so it's not something I've picked up. Most of these games I've had, well, all of them, obviously, they're from when I was a kid. Except this one, Harvest Moon Back to Nature. I bought this game back when the PS2 and stuff was out. First Harvest Moon game I ever got was Save the Homeland. So in between Save the Homeland and A Wonderful Life coming out on the GameCube, I needed something to tie me over, so I got back to nature. I didn't know Harvest Moon games were in such high demand or worth so much money. This one's, I don't know the worth on it. I really don't care because I'm not going to sell any of these games. I'm not really selling or trading or anything because they're stuff from when I was a kid, so they hold like the sentimental value. But yeah, I didn't get this game back when I had a PS1 or was playing it. I was well into PS2, well into owning almost all three last-gen systems at the time. So, but I have this game. Ogre Battle, limited edition. I got this game for my birthday a long time ago when I was a young kid. I think it's a tactical RPG. It's so weird and so hard for when I was, young. Coming to, when I had it when I was younger, I still don't understand it, but, yeah, this is the limited edition. This game is worth quite a bit. I know the regular non-limited edition is at the local game store, and it's like $50. So I don't know how much this one goes for. Never really played it that much, never really got into it, but this is another game I had as a kid. These next two games are games that RPGs I had on the PlayStation 1, and I'm not a big RPG fan, so, I was not into Final Fantasy, so they're not Final Fantasies, even though they're PS1 RPGs. That's usually what you're gonna think. But I never got into Final Fantasy. I don't like turn-based RPGs that much, even though both these are. But I think their battle systems are a little bit more unique than what you see in a lot of Final Fantasy, whatever the hell, other just stand there, attack, get your ass whooped, go back and attack some more, and then drink some potions. But the first one, Legend of the Dragoon. This game's really cool. It's got beautiful cutscenes, a cool battle system where you have to, depending on what action sets you allocate to your characters, it's like time button presses, and you can go into combos while you're fighting, and then it's hard to explain. You have to look it up, but you can also turn into get this dragoon armor stuff that makes you stronger, and then it gets to the point where you can actually summon dragons. The only thing that was weird about this game, the dragons I never thought were very cool. They look like spaceships. They was just the concepts of the dragons in this game were kind of weird. This game is very long. I played it for a long time and I thought I almost had it beat. Then I looked at the strategy guide and I figured I was only maybe 3/4 of the way through. So, if you definitely want to go back and play an RPG that's pretty cool, pretty long, pick up Legend of the Dragoon. I'm pretty sure if you're an RPG fan, you already know about this game. I'm really not. I liked it, but I don't know how it holds up against other famous ones. And the last one, my favorite game on PS1 probably, even though when I was younger, like I said, all the PS1 games really had were Crash Bandicoots, Spyro the Dragons, stuff like that. That's what I really liked. As I got older, I got into more, games for older kids, and Chrono Cross was the one that I really liked. I really like this game. I think it's better than a lot of RPGs out there. It's probably my favorite. It's probably one of my favorite RPGs of all time. Even though I think there's much better RPGs out there, this is my first one that I really liked. This game's really cool. It's the sequel, pretty much, to Chrono Trigger. In my opinion, I like this game more than Chrono Trigger. A lot of people are going to call blasphemy on that. But I have so many great memories of that game. I really like the battle system. Everything was easy to understand. You didn't have to grind in that game. You leveled by defeating bosses. So every boss you fought, you could be if you didn't equip yourself properly and know how to fight. But you never got to the point where you were in over your head, which I found out with a lot of other RPGs. You always had to come to these points where it's just well, shit, now I got a level. So, and you just had to fight crap and just keep doing it to boost yourself. Chrono Cross made sure you were always steadily, exponentially increasing throughout, the game. There's very little hiccups unless you couldn't, beat some certain enemies or certain bosses, but you could usually go back and equip yourself or build the right team, because there's a ton of party members in that game to defeat it. There's ways to manipulate the field with your magic that make your magic stronger or certain attacks stronger. You could do the same thing from Chrono Trigger, and two people got special moves together and stuff. So very, very awesome. Really like that game. I got more stuff on the way. I'm going to call it quits at this, and I'll make this a 2-part series. What you know?